I feel like this can be seen as controversial, but I don't know.
crazy.
But I feel like when people are like, oh, Christianity is like the white man's religion, wasn't Jesus brown? I feel like I need to disclaim this.
Yes.
Disclaimer.
Disclaim
I don't
away,
know-
baby.
I don't even know what the proper word is. Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
I feel like some people are going to feel very strongly about this episode one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I'm a little nervous for the comments.
No. It's going to be great. So this is Liv.
Hi.
Liv Pearsall.
Hello.
I love this woman.
Oh, thanks.
And so as everyone here knows, I used to teach social studies, high school social studies.
Queen.
And I love talking about different aspects of life. And I love talking about different people's perspectives and giving people a chance to like see what it's like to walk in each other's shoes.
Beautiful.
And I knew that I wanted to approach the subjects of faiths and ideologies and even like race issues. And I just had the opportunity of talking to Liv first.
And that is where Liv comes in.
And this is where Liv comes in.
Because I'm a religion girly.
Yes, and we know so many creators.
Oh, yeah.
So many creators.
Oh, yeah.
And you are one of the only ones that I know that is so confident and secure in your faith online.
Oh.
But like also in such a respectful way.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's like the nicest thing you could say to me.
And I wanted to talk about what it's like, because we all know that there's always everyone, whether it's in an occupation or a way of life or in a faith, there are people who make it so that the rest of us can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Always.
None. Yes.
And so I wanted to talk to you on what it's like to be a Christian trying to navigate like being confident in your faith while other people kind of ruin that name for you.
Well, I was about to say, because I don't think you had said it until just now, like, I'm a Christian. Christian is the faith I subscribe to.
Yeah.
Protestant, I would consider myself non-denominational, if that makes sense to you. Evangelical, whatever.
Absolutely.
But basically, I believe that Jesus existed.
Right. Yeah.
He died. I believe he resurrected. I believe he was the Son of God. And a relationship with him is the only way to salvation. I'm just going to put that out there. You know?
That's your faith.
That's my faith. That's
your
my
belief.
thing. And I think... sorry, were you going to say something?
No, go ahead. I want you to take I ramble too much, and I didn't take Adderall today, so please go ahead.
I appreciate the candor. But, definitely we're in a very interesting, like, time period right now where there's just a lot of very loud Christians, and I would almost even put them in quotes sometimes because with how loud and rude they're being, I'm like, do you know Jesus? Because Jesus was all about love. Yeah. That was his thing. I mean, there's a whole wave of Christian nationalism that I just think is so, personally, I think that is so against the heart of God, and so that makes me angry how people would maybe assume that I would subscribe to that. Because
that must be so like belittling.
It's a little annoying, But I'm not even just talking like politically right now. I more mean there's like a lot of judgment that comes from the church, and there's a lot of well-meaning Christians, believers. When I say believers, I mean Christians. Yeah. There's a lot of well-meaning believers out there that think they are doing good by saying, no, I love this person, and if I love them, I have to tell them that the way they're living is wrong. Like that's the way to love someone. And they come right forward with that and not with, hey, let's sit down and have a meal. That's a big thing that Jesus did a lot in his life is he's like, before I talk to you about maybe the way you're living your life, like I'm going to invite you over for dinner. We're going to talk. I'm actually going to love you and have you feel seen. Yeah. Even like women back in Jesus's day were just like, very different from how it is now. Beneath men, they didn't have any status. They couldn't like own property. They couldn't, they weren't, worth really anything unless they were married, And so especially if you were maybe an adulterous woman or like a prostitute or something, you were like the dregs of society. And Jesus went to them and was like, hey, I love you, and this is not who you are. And let the one here without sin be the first one to cast a stone, And so I'm like, well, that's it. Like, take us. That's sorry if this is not making sense. I'm kind of talking in a little Christianese
right now. I think it does make sense.
But I want to live my life in that way where I'm like, I'm not without sin. Why should I cast a stone?
Yeah.
As somebody who doesn't even believe what I do.
According to Christian, because for those that, like, I grew up Jewish, so
Yeah.
like, I'm not an expert on this by any means.
Sure.
But, like, aren't we all supposed to be sinful? Like, isn't that the whole point?
Yeah. Like,
None of
I've
us
done
don't have it.
plenty of things wrong. And sure, like, you know, then that gets us into even stickier waters where people are like, oh, no, I think some people are really inherently good and never mess up, or they're perfect. But my own personal experience, I'm like, I know myself, I think I'm a good person, and I mess up constantly.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like that's self-awareness, like every human being does.
Yeah.
You know, whether, like, even if it's just as simple as, like, you had a bad day and you, like, snapped at somebody that you didn't mean to. That's still not being perfect, and none of us are. We are all human beings.
And that's not me saying, so I'm an evil monster, I don't deserve anything, no. I'm scum. You know, it's like, whoa, okay. You know, like, I think I also have inherent value because I am created by God. You know, like, that in and of itself means I am a valuable being.
Human being.
You know?
In what originally, I'm trying to think of, my ADHD is like flying a mile a minute.
I know. Sorry, I feel like I'm bouncing between huge topics.
But I'm following, and that's good because, again, I don't have the context, so that's good. So that means that you are making sense. Okay. I can follow, so you're making sense.
Perfect.
But, like, what really brought my attention to that, and I was telling Liv a little bit about this before we even got started, but, you know, I taught high school social studies. I went by the standards, the state standards that our state legislatures decided, hey, these are the standards that students need to learn for world history, for American history. And I, as a Jewish woman teaching, I got more accusations and more flack for trying to push a Christian agenda than anyone ever gave me. You're like, I'm not even Jewish Christian teacher. I was like, I'm literally Jewish. Yeah. And it was so interesting for me. Yeah. It was very interesting.
Why do you think that was?
So the standards are very Eurocentric.
Of course.
100%. Like, it's world history. Yeah. And most of it is, hey, this is what's going on in Europe, and this is what's going on with the Catholic Church, and like, so I get it, 100%. Like, even my friend and I would add a couple extra days for medieval Africa, medieval Japan, because important. Good. But, like, we were literally only able to add a couple because the pacing is very strict. Yeah. And you still have to cover everything that the kids need for the final. You know, you can't take things out and then they're just out of luck on the final. You know what I mean? Like, we don't make the final. The state makes the final. And so, like,
so many people think Christianity is like the white man's religion, which is just crazy. Yeah, like, that is so not, I don't know. I understand how the Eurocentric mind, like, viewpoint of history would say, oh yeah, like, Catholicism, the Roman Catholic Church, Christianity, Jesus, check. That's it. Well, white equals Christian.
I feel like this, like, can be seen as controversial, but I don't know. Crazy. But you can tell me if it's not.
I'll tell you.
If you need to cut it out, you can tell me. But I feel like when people are like, oh, Christianity is like the white man's religion, wasn't Jesus brown?
Yeah, Jesus. That's not controversial. Jesus was not white. That's
why I feel like in regular sense, it's not controversial, but, like, people still see it as
well such. That's because all the iconography of Jesus, from, like, they made him super European with, like, these blue eyes,
that's
and,
not
like,
real,
luscious flowing hair.
Geographically, he's not.
The truth is, we don't know what he looked like. He's from the Middle East, so we have to assume darker skin.
It wasn't very common for people to have light skin, blue fair eyes. Skin. Like, that's not.
But also, I think it's crucial that the Bible never describes how he looks. And I think that's part of the point. It's like, hey, this is a man for all people. Yeah. You know, no matter how fair skinned, no matter how whatever.
I never even, like, noticed that. I mean, not that I've that I've read the whole thing, but I love that idea of, like, purposefully not describing what he looks like.
Because, you know, then we get into all these, like, oh, well, Jesus had short hair, so I have to have short hair. Or I have, like, it doesn't matter. It's all about the heart. Yeah. You know, and that was also his whole thing, was like, God sees the heart of man. Yeah. You know, man makes his own plans, but God, I'm butchering the
No, you're
quote,
okay.
But it's like God sees the heart, and that's what you want to make beautiful, you know? And that's what true beauty is.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Look at that.
Well, I'll never forget this one instance where like we were teaching about court cases, right?
Ooh, okay.
And I believe this was so long ago at this point,
Sure.
but I believe we were looking at a court case from New York.
Okay.
For some reason, Texas is also screaming in my head, so it could
Sure.
have been Texas.
One of the biggies.
I think it was New York,
Okay.
honestly. And it was a school that had the kids recite, like, a morning prayer.
Oh, interesting.
And so...
Was it a Christian? Was it public school?
Yeah.
Oh, Christian school.
I think it was a public school.
Oh.
I think it was a public school. And this was, like, a long time ago.
Okay.
Like, not, like, 100 years, but, you know, like, maybe 40, 50.
1900s.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And we were just looking at the court cases for social studies, right?
Right.
And so we had a lot of different photos on the board, including the text of the prayer. Because, again, like... if we're going to talk about whether, like, the court's opinions and things that the judges said, we need to know exactly what they're looking at.
Do you know, was it the Lord's Prayer? Was it, like, Our Father who art in heaven?
It might have been. Maybe. I honestly can't remember.
That is, like, a passage of Scripture.
I really can't remember.
Okay, sorry. Keep going with your story.
Okay. No, that's okay. I genuinely can't remember because I didn't look at that part too hard because, like,
you're like, this is just history.
It wasn't the point of it just wasn't the point of, like, the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were just looking at, like, opinions and dissenting opinions, and for those that don't know, like, that's the judge's rulings is called opinions, and dissenting opinions is disagreeing opinions. And and concurring opinions is the agreement and all the things.
Cool.
And all of a sudden I got an email from my principal of a mom who wanted to have a meeting. And she accused me in front of the administration of trying to push Christianity and prayer and Christian values on her child. And I was like,
tough.
What?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, all you Christian teachers down here in the
You're
South.
like, I'm not Christian.
I moved down here from the North to get away from, or no,
to the South.
Sorry, I knew that I would have to worry about this when I moved down here to the South, and I knew that would be a problem. And everyone warned me. Now I see it, and it's real.
It up.
And I was like, girl, I'm Jewish.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What? And not only that, I was actually out sick, like, the next day. It was one of the only times in my teaching career that I was not in school. I didn't like missing because I didn't trust
a sub. Or just...
There are some subs that are really great, but there are also, like, I've seen interesting subs, and you just never know what kind of sub you're going to get, and I'm a control freak when it comes to my kids' education, so I just didn't miss.
Yeah.
But it was one of the only times I ever missed, and when I was like, girl, I'm Jewish.
Yeah,
like,
that's...
What? She was like, oh, well, then why did you put in the sub plan that they had to do the prayer again? And I said, what are you talking about? Well, my son saw it. My son saw that you had that. I said, first of all, did they continue working on the assignment? Yeah.
I know.
But it's not, first of all, it's not in the subplan. I can show you the subplan. But second of all, how would your kid know?
Yeah.
You think substitute teachers are, like, showing all the instructions to all the... No.
There's, like, a lot of assumptions being made.
That's really weird to think that, like, the adult instructions that I would give a sub that have kids' accommodations, kids' health issues, that's not getting passed around to other kids.
I do think this is very indicative of sort of the era that we live in around Christianity, that it is so emotionally charged right now, and, like... very offensive to people, that even bringing it up in the topic of a history lesson, like, or in the context of a history lesson, makes people go, whoa, no, don't push that on my kid. And this is so not me saying, I'll be the last person to be like, Christians are so oppressed right now in America. I'm like,
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, not what I'm saying right now.
For sure.
But, like, people are they are quick to take offense, I would say.
I feel like it's quick to get defensive.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very quick to get defensive.
Yeah.
Because even,
Yeah. Which is sometimes valid. Religious trauma is very real.
Yes, very real.
Like, people in positions of Christian power have deeply abused that authority and hurt so many people and kids. And so I'm like, to an extent, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get why you'd be... so mad.
Right. It's like, it's understandable, but it's so unfortunate for, like, the regular people that are just trying to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have my own religious trauma. Like, I know someone who is very close in my life who literally gave me a book, like, handed it to me and said, this is for you and your father. Make sure he gets it and reads all of it. And it was literally a book on why my family's just going to hell. And I was like, you want me to give this to my dad?
See, that's crazy.
What is it like?
That's a crazy way to evangelize someone.
Weird.
Like,
and wild. Like, what is wrong with you?
I actually just saw a friend of mine make a video. He's also a Christian.
Uh-huh.
He made a video that was like, Christians are always like, oh yeah, don't be anxious, don't fear, just like have peace in the Lord. And then it was like also Christians. It was like, here's 10 reasons you're going to hell, And I was like, so which is it?
Like, which one is it? I don't
like, I don't think the Lord like wanted us to have fear be our primary motivator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that just, also, that's not really a faith that I want to prescribe to.
No, I get that. I love that.
Like, yeah.
No,
I thought I had another thought and then I didn't.
Well, it's so interesting because the fact of the matter is.
Jeez, I just turned on my
flashlight. No, it's okay.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, keep going.
I think like what keeps it as a constant ongoing issue is that there are still churches that are very fire and brimstone. Yeah. And there are, like, I myself don't associate anymore. Yeah. Know people who go to churches that like slur in church.
Yeah.
And like use it as reasoning and justification and fire and brimstone and I'm like, I don't subscribe to this in my life.
I know this is like not what I should be using a platform to spread, but I just saw a reel of a pastor from the pulpit saying if your if your husband abuses you, beats you, and you call the cops on him, you are evil.
What?
Because you are like denying your, I don't know, marital vow or something like that. And I was like,
is beating your wife not against a marital vow?
I know. I was like, no. Like, from the pulpit, we should be teaching, like, women get to safety. Like, that's the most important thing.
Okay.
Like,
I don't know if I should say this or not.
Oh no. What? Just try it. Go for
it's more of I have to, legal things.
Legal things.
I remember I'm trying to think of how to. Someone checked in on me, within the last year,
just like a wellness
while I was
check
separated. Just how you doing? Wanted to check in. Blah 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 blah. And all of a sudden, like in the middle of the conversation, they go, with everything going on, I just wanted to remind you that you made a vow. You made a vow, and it's you made a promise. You made a vow, and that's important to God. And, like, I have my own relationship with God. Like, we've already talked about this. Yeah, we've talked about it.
They don't need to know about it.
I just remember pausing and going, you do remember I'm Jewish, yeah?
Right?
What? Like, it was very much like, you made a vow to God and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this.
That's very.
What?
That's.
Okay.
That's a very presumptuous way. But now I don't know the context of your separation.
Yeah.
But like to even just open a conversation, or not even open, just to like make that assumption that you don't know that.
Odd.
It's like you forgot what a wedding vow is. Like you forgot. Oh yeah, I got married.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm aware it's a very lengthy legal process.
Yeah, like I was there. I was in the room.
Like
There's so many people that I just wish I could say like, hey, think for like one more second. Yeah. About what you're saying right now, because if you proclaim Jesus, we are literally his representation on earth. It says in the Bible, like, you're ambassadors for Christ. You know how an ambassador would go into a different country and be like, I'm the representation of France or something like that. I don't know why I said it like that.
I love that you said it like that.
I know, on France. But, like, I'm here to represent God. So, like, think about your words, because something that could just be to you could stick with someone for a long time.
Interesting.
And make them be like, oh, well, if that's what Christianity is, like, I will never step foot in a church because that made me feel so blank,
No, absolutely.
And that just, I don't know. I just, like, can I get a little political?
You can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want.
Sorry. That's what I would want to say to someone whose name rhymes with Sean'll Jump. Is like, I think you think your words don't have power, and they do.
Yeah, the things that you say matter.
The things you say matter regardless of your position.
Yes.
If you're in any sort of authority. You know, and so that just
in general, words will always matter.
Yeah.
And it creates an image for other people.
Yep.
And if other people, like, I'm trying to think of how to phrase it because I hope I'm making sense. But like, when people don't have context and they only hear people talk about a subject or a concept, they're going to contextualize and visualize that concept with whatever words they hear.
Yeah. And they're going to bring in their own background and their own culture, which they should. That's how people work.
And it's not even just for faith. It's in general. Like, take me, for example. I try really hard to always be myself online. All the time. But no matter what I do or say, no matter how much good or bad stuff in my life that I share, people are always going to have their own interpretation of me as a person. Yeah. And I've seen it in real life. Like, there will sometimes be things that I'll post where I get comments that are like, this isn't very like you. And I'm like, what do you mean? This is exactly like me.
Hello?
And it or things that are like, oh, I never knew you, XYZ, or people that I just see comments that are just blatantly choosing to misunderstand me or what I'm saying. And so even just as a regular individual person, no matter how true to myself I stay online, there will always be people who misunderstand because they misinterpret or they contextualize differently or like their path in life has like shaped how they perceive things or internalize things. And if that can happen for just me as a human.
Yeah. I get so frustrated when somebody misunderstands like one tiny detail about me. Can you imagine how Jesus is? Like, imagine he's looking down and just being like, you guys have got it all wrong. Like,
what are you, sometimes, like,
I'm a good,
what are you doing?
I love you.
What are you doing? What are you doing down there? That's not what I said.
It takes me a lot to not get into like a heated comment thread where I'm just like, no, you don't get it, blah, blah, blah,
Stop
blah,
saying that. I feel like I'll never forget the first year that I taught world history. And, you know, again, like, it's very Eurocentric. So a lot of the issues that we talk about surround the idea of faith because, again, like, gold, God, glory. Those were the big things.
What does that mean?
Oh, gold, God, glory, the 3 Gs? That's literally the whole reason that people were trying to explore and expand out into, like, what they considered the new worlds.
Interesting.
Because those were the 3 priorities people had.
Can I give you another rhyming 3 that my church talks about sometimes?
Sure.
Leisure, pleasure, treasure.
Ah.
That's what a lot of people like seek after in life.
Interesting.
To sort of satisfy something in themselves.
Very
Leisure,
interesting.
pleasure, treasure. Anyway, sorry, maybe
no,
think of that.
You're okay. You're fine.
Keep going.
Well,
Gold, God, glory.
No, those were people's biggest priorities. Yeah. Especially back in the day when it's not like there was electronics and games to play, things like that. And so a lot of the reasoning behind a lot of wars, conflicts, issues were typically religious. Yeah. And I just remember this one girl sobbing at the very end of class because, she had like a Christian necklace, like a cross necklace. And there were some kids in class like being so mean to her and basically telling her that her people were the villains of everything.
Yeah, that's really sad.
And that's like, there were a lot of things that throughout history,
like the Crusades,
various
terrible.
Churches did so wrong. Like Crusades, one of the worst examples.
Terrible.
Or one of the best examples of terrible things.
It's weird because I understand both.
Like, that's a lot of pressure to put on a young girl that's just trying to figure out what she believes in. Yeah. You know what I'm like? She didn't do that.
Yeah.
What do you? Well,
I mean,
you can't do that. You can't. There's going to be people in every single faith and people who lack faith who just don't make good choices and impact a lot of people.
100%.
And there are always going to be people who use lack of faith or faith as a justification for some bad choices.
Yeah. Like, we can't swing either way on the pendulum. One direction being, let's not hold any accountability for any of the atrocities that people have done in the name of God, because they're godly. It's like, no. We're not just going to ignore that, but we also can't swing this way and say, and so that is the way Christians are. It's all evil. It's all bad. And we reject it. And it's okay to mock and berate. people who are of faith because of all this
just
other
because
stuff.
they have faith.
Just because they have faith. I'm like, you gotta stay in the middle where there's accountability, but we also have respect for people's religions. And
it's the idea of I want to know what you would see as for accountability for that, because again, like no one who like the Crusades.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, the Crusades were a string of many adventures where the church basically said, like, hey guys, we want to take back over the Holy Land. Yeah. We are offering eternal glory and riches and value and land and blah, 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 blah for the people. If you die in the crusade, you're going to be eternally blessed. Yeah. If you live and come back, you're going to live as a rich man forever, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of people...
killed a bunch of people.
A lot of people died. The worst... Well, the worst one that, like, really upsets me is the last one, the Children's Crusade. Did you not know about that?
No.
Oh, yeah. So there's, like... I mean, the Crusades is, like, a span of a lot of years, a lot of decades, a lot of different crusades.
What century is this in?
So this spanned, like, 300 years from 1096 to 1291.
And nobody woke up and was like, hold on.
So, well, the issue is one of the very last ones was like, it was the church basically saying, hey, God wants this. Yeah. And because God wants this, God would never turn against your children. So you should totally send an army of kids on this mission. And I think one of the oldest generals was like 14.
Yeah. That's just
crazy.
Oh God, I can't even remember.
And the one of the big reasons that we learned about the Crusades was because obviously, like, it created a lot of religious tensions.
Right.
Because obviously this spanned over 300 years. So is there only one ruler in in Jerusalem at this time? No, but Saladin was one of the major players. Saladin, yes. Wow. And there's a lot. There's a lot of religious tension that's created, but also the entire debacle kind of. What word was I looking for? Diminished a lot of people's faith in the word of the church. Because, again, these are very big religious figures saying, well, this is what matters. This is what the Lord wants, so it's going to happen, and you're going to be rich. And now people are either, they're dead, their family members are dead, they have no money because they said everything to go on this crusade. They lost their children. And they got nothing in return. Yeah. It was a complete failure.
I think that's a perfect parallel to why so many people are adverse. Is that a word? Adverse to?
Adversary? Yeah, I think so. That sounds correct.
Against?
If it's not, I accept it.
I know. Thank you. Averse. Averse.
Yeah.
Wait, or adverse. I don't know. Anyway.
Adversaries is a word.
I know. To the church. Anyway, I'm just saying against the church is because, back then it's like, the church leaders are saying, hey, kill all these people. We have no... Like, your family's dead, you have no money, you have no land, you have no blah, blah, blah. And nowadays, these church leaders are saying, like, close the borders and, like, take away rights and, indoctrinate certain, age groups and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm trying to be a little vague.
No, you're fine. You're okay.
But it's
I have no idea what you're referring to.
But people are seeing that and going, oh, well, if that's what the Christian leaders are saying, I want no part of this godly church, and I don't even blame them.
And it's not even it even goes further as not even just I want no part in the church, is I don't want any part in anyone associated.
Yes,
and that can be like, that's if we were all, and I mean all, like, if you think about it, take it like 5 seconds and think about it. If every faith was beholden to what extremists in their faith were
I would not be a believer.
Yeah, no, we would all just be horrible
We'd all
people.
be agnostics or something. Because, like, there's no religion that has, like, a good... I don't know. They all have outliers.
Every single one. Every single one. Even people who lack faith, there are still people who are extremists in the name of lacking faith. Yeah. And that's just how it is.
Straight up, I happen to think that being a part of a church is important. I have a lot of friends who, this is kind of a topic shift. Okay. If that's okay.
No, that's totally fine.
Sorry, it's just something I just thought of.
No, it's okay because I already know I have something I want to add when you're done.
Period.
A counter idea.
Oh, love that. Okay. I have a good number of friends that are like, oh yeah, I'm religious, but I don't prescribe to, like, a church body. Like, I don't attend church, but sometimes I'll pray, sometimes I'll maybe read the Bible or something or journal, but I don't want to have community with other Christians. And now this is controversial. This is
Okay.
where people are going to get in the comments and sorry, and they're going to yell at me, but it's fine. Which is, I actually think being a part of a church body is a really intentionally designed part of a Christian faith.
Okay.
By God, you know, because we as believers, like, we're not supposed to, like, every action we do is either kind of folding in on ourselves, isolating, or we're like reaching out. And we as the bride of Christ, if you've heard of that, probably. No. The church is known as the bride of Christ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Christ, it was this like Jewish, like, allegory that they all understood back then, because lots of times the groom and a bride, the groom would go away for a while and like get ready the home or something, and the bride would stay there. Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I'm scared that I'm getting any details wrong. But the bride would have to stay, and then at some point the groom would come back and they would get married and be together forever. You know, and so the metaphor in scripture is that we, the church, are the bride of Christ, and Christ, Jesus, God, whatever you want to call it, is away right now where there's this sort of decreation. And oh man, it's so hard to.
No, I'm following.
You're following?
Yeah,
okay, cool. Like creation, decreation, and then there's the restoration. So once the bride and the groom come back together, that's the restoration of all the world, and everything will be good, and there will be no tears, there will be no pain. That's what it says in Revelation, right? And so anyway, the whole point is the bride of Christ is a body, you know, and we are all supposed to be connected to each other. There's passages in some of the epistles that are like, the eye can't do what the foot can do, and the foot can't do what the arm can do. You know, it's like we're all needed. We're all supposed to work together. And so if your faith is just you alone, you're not actually experiencing the fullness of what a faith-driven life can offer. Does that make sense?
It does. I'll tell you why.
Give me a counterpoint.
I'll give you
I feel like I didn't explain that well, but
no, it's okay.
Someone will back me up in the comments with like actual data.
No. I feel like your idea on the concept, or your ideology on it, is very like specific to Christian rhetoric.
100%.
And that's totally fine.
And I don't know about
that.
other
religious.
tendencies.
I think mine is very vague and broad, and this is not an absolute idea or an absolute concept, because I know this is not everyone or everywhere or whatever. But based on my experience, I personally, like, I have my own relationship to God. And I am not a huge fan of like religious institutions.
100%. I get it.
Because I feel like too many times and too many people kind of use those institutions to kind of prove, like, they feel like it almost feels like the need to prove that you have a relationship to God, or that you have a religion, or that you have a faith, and who's the biggest advocate for faith. And like, I don't like.
And that's toxic.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
Yeah. Like,
I'm
not
that's
I don't feel the need to
not
like
what
go
it's supposed
and
to be.
Prove to somebody else that I believe in something.
I mean,
like,
that
I don't
goes
need to do
even
that.
back to like Martin Luther, you know, going against the Catholic Church. They were like, you have to literally pay money to prove that you're like a Catholic. And he was like, that's not even what the Bible says. And so he like nailed his theses on the door or something.
95 Theses, 1517.
Look at me.
There we go. Oh, I love that.
But yes, I mean, if that's what religious institutions were, which many of them are.
So many. And that's the problem.
You know, I wouldn't want anything to do with the church.
And I think that's not just in regards to Christianity.
No.
I think that's an issue that religious institutions have across the board.
Well, we as people, as human beings, we gravitate towards comparison. Like, we just naturally are like, let's make it a competition. Let's figure out. I mean, the disciples literally, like, they were fighting one night, and this is in one of the Gospels, they were fighting, and they go to Jesus, and they go, Jesus, like, come settle this bet. Which of us is the greatest? And that's when, which I'm like, first off, relatable. Like, same, you know. Second off, his response is amazing, because Jesus goes, oh, you know what? The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. You know, the greatest of you is going to be humbled, and the one who is humble is going to be exalted. You know?
That's so interesting.
Yes. Like, those are words from Jesus in Hebrew, you know?
Sure. Yeah. I could read that. Originally.
Because I know the New Testament is written in Greek, but I don't know if they were speaking Hebrew. Anyway. They were speaking American English.
The Torah was definitely first in Hebrew.
Yes.
So that would be the Old Testament.
That's the Old Testament. But anyway, he said that. That's the point. You know.
I have you reminded me of something that I saw online.
What?
And it was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God, T, what?
But if it's too much, you can tell me.
Okay, yeah, I'll stop you if I'm like, Lena, cut the cameras.
Cut this out. I saw this meme.
Oh no.
And it was like, some Christians are really big to say, oh, I'm not going to use your preferred name. I'm not interested. I'm only going to use your birth name.
Don't get me started.
But they'll totally change the name if it's Paul and Saul.
Literally. And that's a good example. You know, because they're like,
Paul, they're fine with it.
That's a good, because they're like, well, God, God is the one who renamed him, and we're not just.
How do you know that someone else didn't?
Feel that from God. Truly, like, I'm just gonna give my opinion on this because everybody's just begging for my opinion.
I want to know your opinion. I stay up at night thinking about Liv's opinion.
What does Liv think about this? But I will always use a like trans person or non-binary person's preferred pronouns. Because frankly, I personally believe that Jesus would use them.
I do too.
Because I think
I'm Jewish.
Yeah, and I think it's the most loving way. Like, regardless of what you believe. That's like, put that aside for a second of, if you think, being trans is right, it's wrong, blah, blah, blah. Like, just a level of respect.
For a human being.
For a human being to see, hey, I see you as a person and I want to love you and show you that I like accept you where you're at right now. Because sometimes I think when you refuse to use someone's preferred pronoun, what they're hearing is, this Christian doesn't accept me until I prescribe to what they live by. And that's not fair. They don't believe what you believe.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I always am going to respect that. And if they come to me and are like, hey, like, you're a Christian and you called me by what I wanted. Like, why is that? Then I can talk about the love of Christ. And there we go.
And everything's
and
about
that's
love.
it.
And everything's
you
about
know?
love.
Is it really that difficult?
No.
I almost don't want to share this because it's just like so toxic.
Okay, I'm ready.
But I heard a church. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. It's my coordinator, but I'll call him back. Sorry, babe.
I'm looking to make sure that I know you have to get to a meeting.
I know I have a meeting. Sorry.
No, I was looking to make sure it wasn't too close to your meeting.
Yeah, no worries. I might send him a selfie and be like, in a podcast right now. Sorry. Wait, what was I saying? Oh, I saw in a church, people said, I won't use. I don't know why I'm giving this a platform, but it's just toxic.
I think even when it comes to like toxic ideas, being aware that rhetoric is out there.
Yes.
To stand up to it or speak out against it is important. Yeah. I think it's important.
They said, I think being trans is a mental illness, and so I'm not gonna participate in your mental illness. And I was like, that is the most like dismissive,
belittling,
condescending way to look at other
people. So obviously we agree that's stupid.
Like that's
just so wrong.
That's rude.
And being trans isn't a mental illness. Even if there's not, even if there was merit to this idea of it's a mental illness.
Yes.
When it comes to someone who has a mental illness, like dementia, you don't sit there and tell a dementia patient you're wrong.
I know, yeah.
You're not 30 anymore and your husband's gone. Like, no, you don't
honey,
do that.
You're not depressed.
Like,
and it's like, well, I wish.
Like, what?
I know. Is that not insane?
That's crazy because that's not even right. Like, that's not even how you, again, people who are trans, just because they're trans does not mean that they're mentally ill.
Yeah.
But even if it did, that's not how you handle mentally ill people.
I mean, if I had one message to give to like believers in this, especially in America, in the United States, in this day and age of just like all the tension, I would just be like, up your amount of grace that you have for people to like times 100. Just have a little bit more open hands with these conversations, whether it's a friend of yours that's trans, whether it's a friend of yours that's like MAGA, a friend of yours that's anywhere on any spectrum, just like do what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Well, I think even like there's always that misconception that a lot of people genuinely believe that anyone who's Christian is just automatically MAGA, which is
and that's just not true.
Not the case.
I know of people on every point of the spectrum politically, extremely liberal, progressive liberal, and then I also know people who are very center of the road. You know, I know people who are very right, and I am friends with all of these people. They're all good people, you know. There are a lot on that entire spectrum of bad people, but I happen to know good ones across the board.
Well, it's always so interesting just seeing the assumptions that people will make. Like someone sent me a story like a long time ago. They're like, "Hey, maybe one day you'll be able to use this," and now I can.
Here we go.
The day has come.
Look at that.
But someone was at the park, and they were literally at the park journaling, reading their Bible. Yeah. And they saw a guy. This was right after the 2020 election.
Biden and Trump.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And they were sitting in the park, reading their Bible, journaling in it, doing what you do, or what they do.
Yep.
And some guy just came up and started kind of harassing this woman and was like, "Oh, are you having a bad day? Are you upset? Are you mad?" And at first she was like, "I have no idea what this person's talking about." She thought it was just someone having an episode, to be honest.
You're like, "Oh, it's
She's
okay."
Like she was like kind of nervous. She's like, "Is this person having like do they think they know me? Like, I don't know. I'm getting kind of nervous."
Yeah.
And then come to find out, this guy was talking about the election and was like, "Oh, you're reading a Bible. Are you so upset that Trump lost?" And she was like, "My guy, I voted for Biden." Like, she's no, like, I'm having a great day. Like, what do you mean? And like, he couldn't. Right. But and she was like, Why does this bother you?
There's a lot of people that paint a bad picture.
It's very strange.
Yes.
And can you think of any other last minute misconceptions that someone might have about you in general, just because like you are a proud, secure, passionate Christian woman?
Oh my God. Sorry, thanks.
Oh, yeah. I love you.
I think the first one that popped into my head is just because I'm very passionate about it, is that Jesus is very pro women. And so many people, I mean, I've seen like comment threads of people just being like, "I don't understand how women can follow this religion that's just all about men, and it says women need to be submissive to the husband, and they need to be silent in the church." And I understand how those passages, like, they can kind of freak you out when you just read them at a first glance from an like 21st century viewpoint lens, you know. But if you actually like get into the text and get into what it's talking about, and this is not me like reaching.
No,
you know, like this is legitimate historical.
I trust you. I'm like hanging on every word. I'm listening.
Thank you.
I haven't read it, but I trust you. I trust you.
Thank you. Like, Jesus was radically pro women in a time where that was unheard of.
Like, didn't he bring flowers to the maybe not flowers, I don't know what I'm talking about, but he went and like he washed the feet of the sex worker?
Oh, he didn't wash her feet. He washed feet of the disciples, but he did. There was a sex worker. This is what we're about to bring it full circle.
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about in the beginning. There was a prostitute, is what they call her, that all the religious leaders were about to stone. And that's where they go, Jesus, because they're trying to trap him, right? So that he'll say, "Stone the prostitute." Or if he says, don't stone the prostitute, then you're breaking the law, the Torah, you know? And he goes, "Jesus, should we stone this woman?" Was that the
law? I don't think the Torah was the law at the time, because the Romans were in charge.
Was it not? Girl, I don't know that.
The Romans didn't like Judaism. Like, it was like it was the Jewish land.
Oh, but I'm talking about the Jewish leaders.
Oh.
The Pharisees.
Guys. Oh, yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
So
okay,
they were all
That's
why
I was just asking, because I don't know.
These are not Roman authorities.
Okay,
These are like the religious elite.
Got it.
Being like, we need to stone her. And Jesus goes, "Let the first among you let the one of you without sin cast the first stone." And one by one, it says they all start to drop their stones and walk away. And then Jesus like writes something in the ground with his finger, and it doesn't say in the Bible what it is. Mm-hmm. And that's like one of the big mysteries of the Bible. Like, what did he write in the ground? Yeah. Anyway, people have like a lot of different questions. But basically, he then goes to the prostitute, and he's like, "Who here condemns you?" And she's like, "There's no one here." He goes, "Exactly. Go and sin no more.
Go home."
Yeah.
Go home.
Go home. Go and sin no more. You know? And that, to me, is like such a moment of grace, and him like seeing her and not being disgusted or, you know, what the time would say he would need. I mean, the first people to see the risen Christ were women.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm. And if I love saying this. I know we're probably like over time.
No, you're fine. I just did an episode the other day that was like an hour and a half.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I love thinking about, people said like, if this religion was just made up by a bunch of disciples who met this guy named Jesus, and they were like, let's like create a thing, just because why not? I don't know why they would. Why on earth would they have women be the first ones to testify that Jesus came alive?
Yeah, because people didn't.
That would not
women.
be credible.
That's so interesting.
That would not be credible at all.
I have a genuine like thought that I've always thought.
Yeah,
but I never.
Safe space.
But again, if it's not like it's a genuine question, but if it's like weird or like inappropriate, you can tell me.
Sure.
And I don't. It's genuine.
How dare you? Okay.
It's something that I've just like really always thought about, and I
Yeah.
don't like care one way or another. It's just a curiosity question.
Go for it.
So Jesus was Jewish.
Yes. Born in Nazareth.
Right.
Yes.
So what was the rationale for, if the goal was to be more like Jesus?
Uh-huh.
Why would people not want to follow his chosen faith and instead create a new one? It's just a
you
curious
mean like
question.
if religion was made up, like why would people do that?
It was more like, I don't know. Maybe I'm not describing it correctly.
Wait, I want to understand what you're saying.
So like again, it's just a curious question.
Yeah,
like an
yeah.
academic question. I
course.
don't care one way or the other.
No, I love this.
So Jesus was Jewish.
Yeah.
And the whole is like Jesus is great. Everyone wants to be like Jesus.
Sure.
If everyone wanted to be like Jesus, what was the rationale for not being Jewish like Jesus and instead creating an entirely new religion around Jesus?
Yeah. Well, Jesus defied a lot of what the Jewish tradition said.
Most Jews do.
I'm like, but at the time, no, you're fine. But at the time, that was like punishable by death.
Okay.
Because the Pharisees, I mean, power went to their heads.
Oh,
they
yeah, that
followed
happens.
every little thing, like, don't cut your hair, don't eat pork, don't, just like every little thing in the Levitical law, that Jesus said, oh, actually, I am going to work on the Sabbath. I'm going to raise a man who can't walk, that's paralyzed. And they're like, how dare you do that? It's the Sabbath. You're supposed to rest. He's like, really? You're telling me not to give a man the ability to walk again when he hasn't done it his entire life? And so the reason there's a new religion is because he, like, said, actually, this entire old law that you've been following for forever is like null and void when you live in me.
I was curious. I always thought about it and I'm like, I want
I know.
I'm like always, but why? Kind of person.
No, totally. Because he was a bad example of following the Jewish law.
Interesting.
He did it very poorly to the point where they killed him. They're like, you are straying people away from what is God's law. And he said, I am God's law. And they're like, holy,
Interesting.
like, kill him. And then he comes back.
You made me think of this this meme that my dad used to laugh so hard about.
What?
And it's like, there's like 3 stages of Judaism, right? There's like, there's like the first stage, like real Orthodox, like traditional people who have, the hair pieces they don't, and they wear the top hats and they wear, and they don't work on the Sabbath and they go to temple. And then you have the second stage who are like, more, I don't remember the phrase, I don't think they said reform, because like typically that's more like casual Judaism, but I don't remember if you said reform or not, but it's like, they don't always go to temple. And they don't
all
really
of it,
eat
but like,
and
culturally
they are. Whatever. And then you have the third that will have the hair and will have the hat. Only when the rabbis are looking.
But it's just, it's just performative.
It's just like,
it's just for when they see.
And I didn't, the way that they did it was so much funny.
I know, but that is funny.
But my dad used to love it so much and he thought it was so hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, the only people that Jesus like reams, like Jesus is so loving to everybody, the lowest of the low, the tax collectors, the prostitutes, blah blah blah, and the only people that he like gets into is the religious elite. I think the Pharisees.
That's something that again like is so relatable in every faith. Yeah. There are people who always take it too far. Yeah. In every religion. Oh yeah. And I think that's something that people tend to.
They lost the.
Right.
What's the word I'm looking for?
The vision, the path.
Yeah.
The why. They lost the why.
They lost
the why. But then even people who are faithless, which is fine. Like, you do what you gotta do. You do what you believe and wherever your heart is. Mm-hmm. But then there are still non-religious people who still take other things too far. Like, it's not
we as people, we know how to take things too far.
Yeah, we do that a lot. Humans do that.
I would just always want to say to somebody, if you have been deeply hurt by the church, get to know Jesus. Because Jesus is so much cooler than the church. He's such a real one. He's so loving and good and, like, amazing.
Love.
Love, love.
Love, love.
You know? And then you go to church and you're like, who are these people? Claiming to be like Jesus. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
That guy was awesome.
Okay. Any other last minute misconceptions or thoughts that you want to share before we peace out?
No. Wait, let me think of something good.
That's okay.
I'll say thank you for letting me like ramble.
I've literally been thinking about how can I get into like experiences with faith and race and things like that for a while.
I love it.
And then again, like I kind of, have been a little lackluster the last year just with the things I've been dealing with. And then when I saw you at the event the other day, I was like, you know what? It's now or never.
Now or never.
Let's do it.
Here we are.
Let's do it. And
thank you for being respectful
always.
Of my beliefs.
Always.
You'd think that would be the bare minimum, but
it's not. Yeah, you'd be surprised.
There was actually, you want to hear something tea?
Okay, love
Lena,
tea.
maybe cut this out.
Okay,
maybe.
Okay.
But there was somebody at the event that we were at that like followed me on Instagram, and I have like Jesus is that guy in my Instagram bio.
Right.
And she saw it and she goes, Jesus is that guy. What, like the made up guy? Like he's not real? He's not real. And I was like,
that's so rude.
And I went,
I'd keep that in if you're okay with it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, maybe you're about it. That's
I know,
so
but
mean.
Just I hope she doesn't see it. I mean, I was just like,
if she does see it, then she knows that's not how you interact with people.
I know, but it was,
and you're not naming her.
I always try and give the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, you've been really hurt, so I don't want to.
I think it's fair to have been hurt and have reservations.
Yeah.
It's not fair to go out of your way to like belittle someone for no reason.
I know, and I was like, clearly this is my like thing.
Like, if it were any other, what word am I looking for? Any other topic other than religion, people would be like, no, just because you were hurt by someone before doesn't mean you can go out of your way to hurt other people.
Somebody else.
So, like, why is it different
100%.
here? No, that's rude.
Yes. Amen. And if following Jesus doesn't make you a better person,
you're doing it wrong.
You're not following Jesus.
I like that. Okay,
else.
we're ending on that.
Yes,
that's the end.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yay, of course.
Oh my gosh, I love you.
I love you.
And thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, and I hope to see y'all next week. Bye, my lovelies.
Bye.